The month of September of the year 1963 marks the day Jack Kirby and Stan Lee released Avengers #1, and since then it has become one of the most popular teams in comic book history. It has multiple shows, movies, TV shows, and hundreds of comic books to its name. But who were the first Avengers? So, in order to talk about who they are, we need to know where they first appeared. In this case, they appeared in Marvel Legacy, which is basically Marvel's version of DC Rebirth. However, they aren't quite the same. The comic opens with cavemen struggling to pick up a hammer. Then a large man appears with a pointed winged helmet and tells them to get away from his hammer. But this is clearly not Thor. It is actually Odin. The Phoenix Force appears behind him and comments that it looks like Odin is struggling to lift the hammer. We then see the other members of the first Avengers. The other members include Black Panther, Starbrand, Iron Fist, Agamotto, and Ghost Rider. We then see the large machine they were just battling. It appears to be a Celestial. It looks as though Odin leads the charge into battle with the Celestial. And with that, their role in the comic ends. While I could go on and continue to talk about Marvel Legacy and what happens, that in and of itself can be its own video. The next comic we will be talking about is Avengers 1,000,000 BC, which is a Marvel one-shot in result of everything that happened in Marvel Legacy. The comic opened with King Laufey and his mistress, who is from the Negative Zone, which if you don't know what that is, it was introduced in Fantastic Four issue number 51 and has been around since the 60s. So it is not new, not by any means. It is basically an alien universe with infinite dimensions inside of it, entirely composed of dark matter. One of the most notable people to be associated with the Negative Zone is Annihilus and his wave. They came to Earth a little over 1,000,000 years ago to conquer and slaughter its inhabitants, but the first Avengers were there to face them. The battle lasted for 70 days and 70 nights. Billions of their people died before the Queen abandoned the battle and retreated. Laufey was furious, and in his rage he swore a blood debt to every god, man, and beast on Earth. Laufey fled and the battle was over. It had been years since the great powers came together to fight the Mad Celestials. Unfortunately, by the time the battle had concluded, the first Black Panther died. Odin tells Phoenix it would be best not to get attached. In response, the Phoenix got mad at Odin, telling him a great man died today and he should show some respect. The team without the likes of Black Panther meet up at Asgard. This is because Odin claims that there is trouble and the other Avengers come to help him. But Odin tells them it is within his heart. It is the trouble of love. Odin tells the Phoenix it is his and hers wedding day, but she stops the ceremony. She calls Odin a fool of a god before leaving. It picks up many years later and Gaia is giving birth. Because of what happened at Odin's wedding, Earth's mightiest heroes would be shattered and wouldn't reunite until this day. After Odin, Starbrand, and Ghost Rider would reunite, Laufey would come out of the shadows. Just as it appears a frost giant is going to strike down Odin, a concentrated blast of fire takes off the giant's arm. Whilst all this is happening, Gaia gives birth, but as they're celebrating, Laufey breaks into the cave. Laufey was able to nick the baby with his sword, and it is just enough to turn it to ice. Phoenix reacts fast. She takes the baby up to the sky and manages to burn the ice away, saving the baby's life. As it turns out, this child is none other than Thor. After taking the baby back to Odin, he demanded her to let go and told her to stay away from his family. She tried to remain on Earth to watch the baby grow, but every time the baby cried, lightning would engulf Midgard. Even the sound of thunder became too much for her to bear, and she left Midgard. And that is the end of Avengers 1 million. And to my knowledge, that comic book is canon to Earth 616. And with that, this is the end of today's video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and now I'd like to address a couple of comments on a couple of my last videos. So, this person asks, Sabak versus Superman. I'm guessing the reason why you're asking this is because Sabak was the villain in Black Adam. This isn't a topic I would make a video on, but just to answer your question, in both live action and comic books, Superman would win. This person asks, could you please scale Exodus from Marvel? And yes, I can. That video should be coming out at some point. And with that out of the way, I want to ask all of you to consider liking and subscribing. It really helps out and it motivates me to continue doing this. If you have any topics you want me to cover, comment them down below.